Have you ever been in a fake relationship? Just because you think you're in a relationship doesn't mean you are. This will be the topic of today's discussion. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Table Chatter presents Open Table Discussions. So tonight's question is, have you ever been in a fake relationship? And what inspired this question is the baby situation and Danny Lay. Because in one of the videos that was circulating on social media from the live, the baby was saying to her that she was never his girl. And she's like, I was never your girl. So they had an argument about the title of their relationship. She swore that she was his girlfriend and he swore that she wasn't. So she thought she was in a relationship. And if she wasn't in a relationship, then by definition, she was in a fake relationship. So I wanted to ask all of you at the table, have you ever been in a fake relationship in the circumstances where you thought something was that it wasn't? And if so, what made you think that it was what it wasn't? And then while answering the question, we could all, touch base with this whole situation that's been, going viral the past couple of days. So let's start off with, the quick 30-second short answer. We'll go around the table and then we'll dive deep into it. So let's start with Raquel. Have you ever been in a fake relationship?
I hate this question. So, yes, I've been in a fake relationship, but I was the one that wasn't shit. And next,
Wow. And you know what? That was going to be the follow up, but okay, you hit it first. Okay. All right, I'm going to notate that. All right. Pierre, have you ever been in a fake relationship? Wow, he sounds like he was the one who was doing the faking as well. Okay. Okay. And Ty, have you ever been in a fake relationship?
Yes, I have, and I don't need to plead the fifth. The dude had money. I was in my 20s, and I
Wow.
let him think that he was my man, so he could pay for stuff. Done.
Wow. Okay. Okay, so now everybody has admitted to being the faker. You know what? I've been in a situation like that too, where, but you know what? It wasn't so much that I was like really like faking it. It was more or less me lying to myself, trying to force myself to be in something that I didn't want to be in. So we'll get into that. Let me ask a quick follow up to all of you. Now, has any one of you ever been on the other side where you legitimately thought it was real, but the other person was leading you on? Raquel, let's start with Raquel.
not that I know of, honestly. I really wasn't shit in my younger days. I have grown up and evolved and matured, but back then, yeah,
Wow,
different person, different time.
appreciate the honesty. That's really good. Pierre, have you ever been on the other side where you legitimately thought it was real, and then the other person knew
Yeah,
that it wasn't?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I was young and naive, man. This happened in my like early 20s. I was like 19 turning 20. And the
Mm,
person was uh I don't know if you guys know this story, but she was about 11 or 12 years older than me.
wow.
So it was definitely some manipulation going on.
Oh wow.
And how old were you? You were 19?
Yeah, I was 19,
Mm,
20. I was 19, 20. Yeah.
mm.
So
And at
she
the
was in
time,
her
I think she was
30s.
32. Like, yeah, she was around like 31 or 32. One of those.
Oh, so you was what, Brittany Renner and PJ whatever?
Apparently,
She's
I did it first. I was
PJ
the first, like
Washington.
Soldier Boy. I was the first.
You was the first.
He was the
Yeah, I was
first
Soldier
Diddy.
Boy. I was the first. Yeah. Crazy story. Come to find out, she was actually married. So
Wow.
Oh, well,
yeah,
she really,
she was.
she, you was really in a fake relationship then if
Yeah,
she was married.
I was. And the way I found out, I remember one time I was at a house. I seen a picture of the dude. I'm like, yo, who's this? And then she said, that's family. I'm like, all right, me being 19, 20, I'm naive. I'm like, okay.
Well, she didn't lie.
Yeah, I'm
She
smashing.
didn't lie.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm smashing. I don't really care. So one time, it's like probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. We hanging out. Somebody knock on the door. Who it is him. Obviously, you got to let him in. That's your husband. And then like she's
Oh my
freaking
God.
out. I said she's freaking out. She obviously she lets him in eventually, and then they get to arguing, and I'm sitting here like,
Oh my God.
damn, this is going on. And then eventually, I just got my shit and left. I was like,
Why did
what
he
the
knock on the
fuck?
door? He didn't have a key.
I didn't think he had the key at the time.
Mm.
Wow.
There's a lot. There's a lot
Sounds like
going
he
on
was.
there.
Sounds like they were separated or something like that, or she kicked him out and he came back. Because why would he not have the key? I agree with you.
Yeah.
Listen, man, for whatever reason, dude came home. She had to open the door. She let him in. They get to arguing, and then
He
I'm just
didn't.
sitting
He
here
didn't
looking
say
at him.
anything to you.
He didn't say not one thing to me.
Mm.
Did they have
Not one
kids
Wow.
thing to me. Not they have a kid now, but they didn't have kids
back then?
back. Yeah, back then they have a son now.
And that was the end of the relationship or a fake relationship?
Actually, I ended up hooking up with her a few times after she even told me she was married,
All
and
right,
then
so you didn't
obviously it
care.
died. Obviously, then it died down eventually. But
He was
yeah,
in too deep by then.
I was definitely deep,
Figuratively
man.
and literally, right?
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
was definitely
That's
in
what she
place.
said.
Wow. Okay, well that's an interesting story. See, I'm glad I asked on the other side. Ty, have you ever been on the other side where you thought it was something that it wasn't?
Yes. I was similar to Pierre, but I was like 32 and the guy was like 25.
Oh
And
wow.
I swore we was together
Damn.
and he was, cause I liked him. I was into him and no, he was just like hyped to, be with a woman that had her own apartment and, you know, could do whatever and he could just be here and be chilling and
Hmm.
it wasn't, it wasn't real to him. It was real to me. So yeah, that was my karma
How
for,
long did
for
that
my 20s.
last?
We were together in my mind for like 2 years.
Okay. 2 years. Okay, so like, did you ever have like a conversation where it became clearly defined that where he said you are not my girl? Like, where did you?
After the like during the relationship, he was all in. He was telling me, he was saying, he wasn't quite saying the words "you're my girlfriend," but he was saying enough to keep me around and make me feel comfortable. And then once it was like once we got to that 2 year mark and I was really looking for like a definitive title, like what are we doing? That's when he came clean about it. Like, listen, you're not my girl. I thought we were just talking, and I'm like, talking for 2 years, and you got clothes here and stuff, and you damn near live here. We just talking. What do you mean? So yeah.
Mm. Now, when you asked him, when you had that talk with him, how long into the relationship that was?
Um, I mean, I get what you're trying to say, and we did have initial conversations prior to
Hmm.
that made me feel like it was cool. It made me feel like we were on the same page. But then some things started to happen to make me feel like we weren't on the same page, which is what made me start to like inquire about it. And then it's kind of like I would inquire and then we just wouldn't get around to it or somehow he would dodge the question. And then finally when I just like out and out asked him, he out and out told me like, I don't consider you my girlfriend. This is just a situation, we're just hanging out,
Hmm.
and, that's when I told him, oh, listen, that's not what I was looking for. I was thinking you was my man. And if that's not what this is, then, you need to get going. And that's what he did. And I didn't think he would. And I was hurt. So
Wow. Oh, sorry that happened. I mean, I guess the lesson that could be taken from that is to not assume.
yes,
No matter what it looks like, you gotta have that conversation because
you do.
it seems like these days, and we've probably all done it at some point where for whatever reason we're dealing with someone, but we just don't want to have a conversation like that serious conversation where it defines everything. We just let it be.
Because I feel
And
like in the back of
mhm,
your mind, you kind of know when
mhm,
things are not going right, and then maybe you just don't want to admit that to yourself.
right,
You
because it's gonna end.
yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. What do you guys agree, Raquel, Pierre, that you'll like you won't get into that serious talk purposely because you don't want to mess it up.
Right.
I think it all depends. Like for me, I avoided everything serious. Like I didn't want to have serious conversations. I didn't want to get too deep. If you was like, if I kept the super surface, so
Hmm.
but that's how it naturally was when I was younger. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want nobody in my space too much. Like
Mm.
once I felt like you was getting too deep, I'm like, oh, heard you. I'm out of here. Like you're bugging. You're doing too much. Can't be here.
Okay. And so
So
is that why you were a quote unquote villain?
yeah,
So
that's
you
exactly why.
so you had dudes thinking that you was wifey.
I mean, that's listen.
Yup.
If you
Yup.
get off, okay. If you felt like I was wifey, can you really blame me? Because my nature as a woman is naturally to nurture, so it
Mm.
was like a natural thing. But I wasn't nurturing enough where it was like, yeah, I gotta wife her. It wasn't. Or at least I didn't feel like I was doing that because I kept it super surface. Like I never asked you like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like I wasn't you wasn't getting those questions out of me, and I was definitely not giving you those questions. It was very like, what's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? Things like that. Like anything surpassed that, I was not
You
asking.
avoided getting too deep.
Too
Yeah, like I
deep.
did because
Yeah.
because I didn't want nobody to feel like yeah she's trying to get to know me. I'm really not, bro. I'm just passing the moments and the time.
You just want to have fun.
Yeah, because you're young, like you're not thinking like this person's gonna. You're not thinking about marriage. Like I didn't think I was ever marriage material until I got
Mm.
in my relationship now. If that
Oh
makes sense,
wow.
I feel like the person you have to find somebody that really like gets it out of you.
Right. I
Honestly,
got you. So your fiance changed you or made
completely,
you, yeah?
completely,
That's
like
interesting.
definitely two different. And all of my friends would tell him like, "Yeah, I don't know how you did it, bro, but good job."
Wow, it's like that where people swear they're not going to get married, then they meet someone who just changes their whole outlook on life and makes them forget they ever thought that way. I've seen it.
Mhm.
I know Ty, you've seen it. Well,
Yes. I'm thinking of
yeah.
her right now.
That's amazing. And you know what? That's how you know it's real.
Yeah,
When
that's
somebody can
true.
like change your paradigm. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
That's very true.
And then it's not like you are because there's one. All right, there's two things, right? There are people who they change, but it's not for the right reasons. Like they don't really they're forcing themselves to do it. And then there's other times when you change and it's like it's like another person bringing out the best in you. And it's right. It's not like a bad change. It's a positive change. It's like something that you want to do. You know, and if you get to that point where you meet somebody and they get you to change like that, I think that's powerful.
That's where I'm at right now. Like, I just don't think that I'm gonna get married. So I don't.
Mm.
Don't say that, girl, because it literally. I used to say it, and boom, here he goes, all up in my shit, like, and now we engaged. I'm like, ugh.
I don't know. I just don't see. I'm happy for you give me hope. Like I'm happy that there are women out there like you. Um, but I don't see it. I've already made so many affirmations about just working on myself and being okay with being alone, and I'm gonna be a rich bitch by myself, and that's
Well,
it.
everything in life also has its timing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it just may not be your time to have that Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. You know, not judging, but it's just this everything is timing. So you might meet that right person 3 years from now, randomly. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
hmm
never know. Just I would say don't give up hope. Just be busy doing other things, and you just never know. You know?
Or you probably passed Mr. or Mrs. Right, honestly. Sometimes we tend to bench people before they even like we give them the time, if that makes sense. Like that could be a good friend of yours and you already benched them. You know what I mean?
Because yeah, no, I do know what you mean because you were saying that you are like a person that's like in your younger years, you are a person that's like you don't go too deep. But I
Mhm.
feel like because of that relationship with that younger guy, I'm like that now. Now
Mhm.
when I meet a guy and I'm talking to him, I'm not going too deep. It's like he'd have to like totally impress me. He'd have to do something like so out of the ordinary for me to be like, like just like start asking those questions like what you said, like where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like right now, it's just like I'm just I want to have fun. I want to pass the time. I just don't take guys seriously like that. I really
Yeah.
don't. Like guys are because guys are doing the same thing. They're
Of
trying to
course.
have fun. They're trying to have sex. They're trying to pass the time. So you're just not gonna get that energy out of me, and I don't even feel like you're giving it. So
Mhm.
Hey,
That makes
Weston,
sense.
welcome to the table, man.
Thank you.
You do you see the question?
1 second.
Yeah, the question
Have you
tonight's
have you
question
ever been
is
in a fake relationship?
have you ever been in a fake relationship? So I'm gonna ask you from both sides. Well, I'll ask you the question just first, and then I'll give you my follow-ups. Have you ever been in a fake relationship?
Um, what do you mean by fake relationship?
So a fake relationship is when somebody thinks they're in a relationship, and the other person clearly knows that it's not a relationship, but somebody thinks that it is that. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
Okay. So now the follow-up question is, which side were you on? Were you the one being tricked, or were you the one tricking?
Um, the thing about that is, I don't think I was tricking. At least I didn't think I was tricking at the time
Mm.
because, okay, this is like back in like '07, like, and there was this girl, and we were friends, I thought, and but I knew she liked me, whatever. But then like my and I had told her that I didn't have the time for a relationship, so I didn't want to be in one, but I still wanted to like hang out with her on occasion when I have time, and we could do things. So so at the time, so we spoke whatever, and I didn't have and I was working like crazy. I was going to school from like 8 to 1, and I was working from like 2 to 10, 5 days a week. Like, and because I was in college at the time, and so, and then in between that time, like my mother had been sick, so literally I had no time whatsoever. So our only interaction, or the only time we would hang out or whatever, is that like I would be on my way home, or maybe on the weekend I'm like, hey, I'm home. She would take a taxi, come over, and we do what we do, and then she goes home. The only other time I would see her is when we at church. So, we never like I've never seen this. We never actually hang out in public. We never go anywhere together. I never asked her to be my girl. I never told her, we go for a date or anything like that. that never happened. And then a few months later, and she I remember, and I found out she had been telling people that I'm her boyfriend. I said, wait a minute, like I didn't know that that's what was happening. So, and then eventually that ended ugly because, well, when I wanted to date somebody for real, I went and tried to date somebody for real, and she was like, oh, you lied to me, you broke my heart, and all this other crap. So, yeah.
Is this the girl that pulled a knife on you?
No, that is
Okay.
not her.
A
Um,
knife.
All right. Sorry.
so yeah, there was a couple of occasions where a couple of them may have pulled a knife on me.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
But
Okay.
my face is still pretty as ever. No slashes here, so they didn't succeed.
Wow. Okay. That's an interesting story, man. Now let me ask you, because I asked everybody, so I'm catching you up. Have you ever been on the other side where you legitimately thought you were in a relationship and the other person broke it to you that you were not in a relationship?
No, I've never been there because I'm usually the one avoiding being in a relationship. So in fact, I think I dated. I was in two relationships before my wife,
Hmm.
and I call them relationship because it's the best idea for them. But I did one girl for I think about 7, 8 months, and the other one was like 5, 6 months, and then I met her mother, and that had to I had to call that quits. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. And I know you just came to the table, but the reason why this topic came up in the first place is because it's been going viral the past couple days. The baby situation with his baby mom, Danny Lee. One of the videos circulating, she was expressing to him that I was your girl. So how can you do this to me? And he's like, you were never my girl. You were just a side bitch. The word that he used was certified side bitch. So it's like, what is a certified side bitch? I guess there's levels to side bitching or side bitches. So
But a side bitch would imply that you have a main bitch, doesn't it?
Yeah, okay, because that's what I was about to say. Because who's the
Um,
main?
not
Right?
necessarily. Not
Not
necessarily.
wait a
necessarily.
minute,
Not from
but
my
okay. So
not from my
how
perspective.
does that work?
Um, like in my opinion, like the term or at least the side or implies that I'm not serious about this person, which means there's more than one of you, which means I'm still doing whatever I'm doing, which means you're all just like side pieces, like
Yeah,
none of
but
you
side to
are.
what?
Mhm.
Side to each other? Like
Yeah,
side
basically,
they
basically to me, like it seems like to me, it's like you like because okay, for example, right? If there's no main one, or at least if I'm not with anybody, but I'm smashing 3, 4, 5, what do I call them?
That's not a side. Listen, you got rice, okay? You have rice, right? Then you got chicken, then you got lasagna, you got macaroni, you got salad, you got corn, you got broccoli.
sounds like a
But
Are they
buffet.
there's
all main?
but there's
Are they all
there's
main?
a main. No, but that's what I'm saying. There's one main. What is the
And
main
I'm saying to
dish?
you, and I'm saying if I don't have a main one, and they're
Then they
all
can't be
just
sides. They just all
whatever.
whatever they are.
It's a
They're
Okay,
fuck
so
hodgepodge.
buddies. If if
and again,
if
I'm
if
saying
they're
Yeah,
from
your
fuck
my
fuck
buddy.
buddies,
perspective,
then they're your fuck buddies. But you can't say that's my side. My side means that there's a main. You know what I'm saying?
um,
Well,
That's just my
again, that's not
opinion.
how I see it. I see it
mm,
as
Yeah,
if
I hear
if
you.
there's just
okay.
if there's 4, 5 of you, then you are all just part of the roster. The
So
only
That's
you
main is
got so
me.
you
interesting.
got horses
The,
in the stable.
the only main is me. I'm the main, and you guys are all just
Hmm. And you
following
know
Okay.
what
behind me.
though? And you know what? Let me ask you all a question. Just I mean, I can't think of any other analogy, so forgive me in advance. But imagine you go to like KFC, right? What are the side dishes? Mac and cheese.
Macaroni,
Mac
You
and
got
cheese,
the
coleslaw.
corn on the
mashed
cob,
potato,
Coleslaw.
corn on the
the
cob. So
Hmm.
red beans and rice.
if you have all of that on your plate, those are all side dishes,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
you go from dish to dish, but there's no main course. You don't have the chicken. You're just having those side dishes, And then when you
Okay,
get
for
that,
example,
so
now that you're mentioning it, I'm glad you mentioned that because, for example, I was a vegan for 3 years. When I would go to like certain places, whether it's restaurants or like gatherings, stuff like that, and the main course would be meat of some sort, whether it's beef, goat, chicken, whatever it was. And I wouldn't eat those things. I would just eat, all the sides. So it's like for me, it's like, oh hey, he's like, did you eat? Did you eat? Yes, I did. Did I have a main dish? No, I just ate the sides because I couldn't eat what the main course was. So that's
Rice
something
is
for
a main
me.
dish.
Having
Rice is a main
according to
dish.
who? According to who?
Rice is a main dish.
According
I'm
to
Oh
not.
yeah,
who?
some
That's
jollof
the
rice.
question.
That's
What?
amazing.
Rice is a main
Again,
dish
I ask the question. According to who? Because for example, you
to
can
the
go
world
somewhere
because that has
in
to
the
be a main
world.
dish.
What world? Because
Listen,
at
okay,
in my
Popeyes, it's
Haitian
a side
community,
dish.
in my Haitian community, rice is a main dish. Okay,
again, I'm just as Haitian as you are. I'm simply saying,
so
guess what?
In
You
the
can
Haitian
have a
community,
meal.
in the African community, in the Asian
oh,
community, rice is a main dish.
Okay, and
Okay,
I'm saying that doesn't necessarily. It means that that you're talking literally like like basic cultural here. And I'm saying as
hmm
a like as a whole. For example, for most people, if they have a meal without meat, they feel like it's incomplete.
that's facts.
no, naturally,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
that's
true.
facts.
But guess
Mm-hmm.
what? For somebody who's a vegan who doesn't eat meat and all they eat is like everything else,
Side.
all they eat is those other things. What would be considered the main dish?
I get it.
Hmm.
I get it.
Got
But
you.
like, let me ask you, how is it? Do you think? All right, now we don't know the ins and out of their relationship. Obviously, we're all speculating because they went live and all their business was blasted, right? Do you think it's possible that you know? I'm not even gonna say the baby, right? Because this could be for anybody. Do you think it's possible for people to lie and say that they're not in a relationship or that somebody is not their partner when in reality they were?
Yes.
Because don't your actions
Yes, that
don't
happens all
don't
the time.
don't your actions really in reality define what you are versus what you say? Isn't it really by the actions? And the reason why I ask that is because the baby's baby mom, she's been posting a lot of videos from the
Of him,
past
right?
couple of years
hmm
showing that they were a couple. That's what her argument is of trying to show those videos. Like they're saying "I love you" to each other. What guy calls a woman, refers to a woman as somebody he loves if she's just a side bitch? That he would have to be a liar or
That
narcissistic
happens all the
or
You
time.
know,
or
That happens all the
gaslight
time.
you
gaslighting.
know.
That
Here's
happens
the
all
Not
the
thing
time.
with
That
that.
happens
necessarily.
all the time.
That's not
It does
necessarily
happen
because
all the
nine
time.
times out of ten, you're not necessarily going to find a woman to openly be a side chick. So you're going to have to lie and pretend as if she's
So
actually your main chick.
so you don't think he really
But in
believed anything he was
actuality,
saying?
no. But in actuality,
Okay,
she
That's
comes out.
messed up.
She's the really the.
The side.
okay.
That's
Here's
just what
here's
it
the thing.
is. That's the game.
Here's the thing with that. Here's the thing with that. Um, when it comes to like the baby himself, the baby and what's the girl name?
Danny
Um,
Lee.
yeah.
Danny
When it
Lee.
comes to them, I think they're both goofy as hell, and I think they're both
hmm
goofy as hell and lame as hell. That's what I think personally for them. But here's the thing, like about the question you ask, in terms of like, don't I think your actions should speak and stuff like that. You know what happens? For example, um, when I was in a situation right with that girl I was talking about, everybody she's ever dealt with, every guy she's dealt with, like they were either mean or rude or anything of that nature. Or they were they'd be like, oh, this is what I want out of they just like came and get what they want out of her and kept it moving. Me, on the other hand, I was quite nice to her. I was nice to her, like I would talk to her and
Hmm.
all those things. Like I would do things that that, and I think for her in her mind she's like, oh, okay, that's my boyfriend because he would talk to me, he's nice to me, stuff like that. Because he's like, because he does those things, he must be my boyfriend. And I guess that's why that's
hmm
what she had in her head. But even though I never at any point specifically said, hey, I want you to be my girl, and I'm going to introduce people to you, introduce you to people as my girl, stuff like that. Even though I never did any of the things, she claimed the title because I was so nice to her. And the thing is, though,
Yeah.
it's like, so because of that, it's like, yo, you claim a title, and if you look at it, like, there's been situations where if the tables are reversed in terms of like somebody is used to people just being nice to them, people being nice to them, doing things for them, stuff like that. So, which means if she was that kind of person who's used to that kind of treatment, when I was nice to her, she would automatically assume that it's because I'm her boyfriend. It's because I'm trying to be her boyfriend. Like that. She would just assume, okay, he's being nice like everybody else is nice to me. But because she's not used to that kind of treatment, the moment I did it, she put me on this pedestal and told me, that, oh yeah, that's what it must be what it is. That's what his actions are saying. So
Mhm.
because a lot of that could be misconstrued through no fault of your own. And that's what I'm saying. I think that's what happened to me. Like through no fault of my own, a lot of that was misconstrued because I'm genuinely a nice person. So like, don't get me wrong. And I know Pierre will be back there listening, having a stroke because I say I'm a nice person. But no, but it's like because I'm a genuinely nice person, like somebody can mistake my actions like for something else. Oh, he was nice to me, such and such. Like he must be flirting. Oh, he gave me a ride home. He must like me. No, I give you a ride home because you needed somewhere to go, and then it wasn't a big deal. So it's like there's a lot of things that could be misconstrued. Depends on how you take it, depending on what treatment you're used to. So because of that, sometimes it could very much be like, you know, just based on the treatment, and you just take my actions and just put your own twist to them and make it into something it's not. Because I never said it.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like if there was no
Mhm.
conversation,
Mhm.
if there was no conversation, nobody should assume something. Because I know, like, I don't know if you guys know what's that TikTok? And the girl was like, "Oh, you said you was gonna marry me," and
Mhm.
he's like, "When? When did I say
Right.
that?" You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
Yep,
if a guy doesn't say like, "Yeah, you're my girl," and I'm introducing you to people as my girlfriend, then you can't just assume and go by his actions because
exactly.
some niggas just know how to be a boyfriend, period. Some guys
Yeah.
just naturally know how to do boyfriend shit naturally. So can you truly, and vice versa, we as women, some women know how to do girlfriend shit naturally. But if I don't say it, you can't be mad at me. That ain't my fault
Exactly.
that you fell for the game.
Exactly.
Or for
Yeah.
me as a person,
Yeah.
as more my personality or whatever the case may be, you
Mhm.
can't be mad at me and assume and connect me with you. Like, that doesn't make sense.
See, that's why I feel like I went
Exactly.
cold because I only know how to be. That's the only way I know how to be with a guy is
Hmm.
like girlfriendish. But it's so many guys that don't deserve that. Like so many. So my own defense mechanism for that is to just be, you know, a, a little emotionally unavailable, I guess, so that
Yeah.
I don't get hurt.
So you like change your true nature to avoid pain.
Yeah, because you go out here acting like a girlfriend to a guy, and then they just take advantage of you. They just use you up.
But how are you ever gonna get, for lack of a better term, wifed up if you don't act like a
But like I said
girlfriend?
earlier, I made my peace with that. I don't think that's gonna happen.
If she like in due time, the person's gonna come along where they're going to make her feel okay enough and open up enough where she feels comfortable to bring out those girlfriend qualities. It just hasn't happened now. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and that's okay. Like, you have to protect your feelings, you have to protect your emotions. Like, you can't
You
just
do
be out here
at all
giving
costs.
everybody a piece of
Yeah.
you.
And I also think you have to be open to love, because if you're not open to it and let's say you're making peace with being single, stuff like that can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if you really like close that off, you got to keep the possibilities open if that's something you would like. It's something that you desire. You can't just like, I would say don't make peace with that. Don't make peace with being single. expect to be in a relationship?
Ah, I don't know. The culture of men right now is and maybe the same could be said about women too. I'm not saying anything, in particular about men that can't be said about women. I'm just saying dating and relationships right now is like kind of trash. So, I don't
You
know.
know
It's
what's
like it's
crazy? So many people, like my cousins and my friends, they're saying the exact same thing as you. And I'm just like, damn, like what's going on in the dating world that's really like that's so fucked up that everybody feels the same way at the same time.
I feel like it has a lot to do with
Because
social media.
everybody's
Yeah.
going into relationships as like what you could do for me. It's not necessarily about love. It's just what could you provide for me? How could you make me feel? Opposed to actually getting to know the person that you're trying to be with. It's this whole city girl, city boy nonsense that's going on.
I agree with Pierre to an extent. Like in the last 5 years, I've had guys, like a lot more guys, like ask me for money, especially after like getting to know me, coming to my house, or somehow in some sort of way like assessing that you know, that in their mind they think I got it.
Hmm.
So I've had guys ask me for money and just like the roles that men are normally supposed to play. I don't get a lot of that. And then I also think that I'm really attracted to that, like a really like masculine, manly man. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't meet too many of those.
Yeah.
So you just keep meeting soft dude?
I was
I
gonna say,
mean,
Todd, sorry to tell you, it's 2021. We don't have no roles in 2021.
there's no roles. I mean, I'm a traditional girl. I play my. I feel like I play my role in a relationship.
Hmm.
I'm a girly girl. I'm gonna do all the girlfriend things. I don't
No,
meet
that's
very
exactly
many men
it's
Yeah, I'm
unless
the
I
same
have
way.
to.
I'm super girly. Like I don't see myself doing certain things. Like I let my dude play the man role
Me
in
too.
every aspect. Like I'm not gonna overstep and I don't like get out of pocket. Like I never get aggressive
Mm.
with him. I don't yell at him. We don't like I never get in an argument with him to
I just
just
have conversations.
yeah,
I'm not
it's
being sarcastic.
Yes.
conversation.
I'm just
No,
asking.
yeah, in real
Yeah.
life.
No.
Like
That.
we have
And I agree. I'm the
conversations.
same way.
It's
you
never an
know, I'm
aggressive
happy
tone.
between the city boys and city girls. Things have been going on the last few years. I'm happy I'm retired.
And then
Oh
also, Greta,
man.
I think that we touched on it in another conversation. I don't remember what we were talking
Hmm.
about, but I remember a point being made that Greg made saying that in order to get a guy, you have to sort of you know, like adhere to his likenesses, make him feel like, he's in charge and, that sort of
Make him
thing,
feel
Hmm.
wanted. Make
make
him
him
feel
feel
Yeah,
needed.
wanted and
Yeah.
all of that. And
because that's important.
it's no, that's totally important. If you want, I wholeheartedly believe, I feel like I have tried and tested that method. I am a direct, uh, replica of my mother, who is like the boss. I come from a women of family of boss women.
Hmm.
So my first relationship, which was with my son's father, and we were together for like 10 years. I was like, the reason why it didn't work out is because I was really trying to like rule over him because I was like emulating my mom. So I
Mm.
learned from that relationship that that's not the way to keep a guy. I might be able to get a guy and, but I'm not going to keep a guy like that. And then other relationships I had, I realized that you really do have to, play into the male ego a little bit. But
Hmm.
that process
Hmm.
for a woman, or at least for me, becomes tiring
Mm.
when you're not like, when it's not being reciprocated, when I'm not yielding any results. So here I am just giving, giving, giving. I'm not getting anything back. And then you turn out to be like, a fuck boy anyway. So
Hmm.
I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want, and if I find the guy that I feel like is for me, obviously I would do it. But I just feel like it's overdone now. It's overdone, and where did it get me? Nowhere.
Mm. Piggybacking off what you said, and it's interesting how a person, like, you could be with somebody for like years, but you're not really with them. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, there's no
Mhm.
reciprocation. So this is just this question's for everybody. If you're in a relationship, a supposed relationship, but your needs are not being reciprocated, is it really a relationship?
No.
No, it's a it's an interaction that you're having that's one sided. It's a one sided interaction.
And I saw that means that a lot of us, in general, in society, are in fake relationships. This thing is bigger than the baby
The
and Danny
baby.
Lee. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is like a big thing.
It is. A lot of women are going through exactly what Danny Lee is going through with the baby. Like I feel like
Yeah,
their whole situation, it just so happened to be on a plug in the public eye, but this is a everyday thing. This is nothing new.
yeah.
Like this is something like I'm used to seeing, at least, but not on this a
What
platform like this. But this is
what
a
exactly is
regular
she
everyday
going
thing. I said this is the everyday thing. Them two together. I'm not saying like she's going through something that he's not. I'm saying in general, their relationship or lack thereof is something that we see all the
A
time.
lot of people are
Like a
going
lot of
through.
women are, yeah, a
now?
lot of women are
Yeah,
Correct
going,
me if
or
I'm wrong.
and
You said
a
with
lot of
Danny,
men are going through. That's why I corrected myself. But thank you, thank you. You can
because I
go
was
back
trying to
on mute.
figure out what exactly
Yeah,
is she
yeah, yeah.
going
We
through.
know, we know, we know. Look, I don't know their relationship, right? And you don't know their relationship. We don't know what happened. We don't know who was gaslighting who in real life because, like Ty said, like there it looked like they were already arguing beforehand.
yeah,
So we don't know the basis of the conversation, and we don't know if she just so happened to curse him out, hit him or whatever, and then grab the baby. So all right, let me relax now and go feed my baby, and then he started recording. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know exactly what happened. What
yeah. Because
I
to be
will,
honest, I couldn't really understand why the cops were called. Obviously, their tempers were flared. They were arguing, but
mm-hmm.
in I didn't see every video yet. But to me, it's like I didn't see any violence. I didn't see anybody like acting out of sorts. They were hardly even yelling at each other. So I'm confused as to why he called the cops, unless it was something that happened before the video started.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
I
what I
mean,
thought.
she was definitely, her tone was definitely not what you're describing. One, and then two, we all know with domestic violence, if whoever calls, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna take the guy. So I could see where he's coming from as far as protecting himself, because she could have easily came out and said the baby's abusing her. You understand what I'm saying? Which is very common for women to do, to say, "Oh, I'm being abused," which sometimes it's a lie. So
But
he did the
she
right
didn't
thing
say
by
nothing like
recording.
that though.
You said what?
I said she didn't say nothing like that though. I'm confused as to why they took
No,
her.
I was giving you a scenario. I know I was
Oh,
giving you a
oh,
scenario.
oh,
He could have told her to leave. At that point, if she's not leaving, that's trespassing. So they could have took her for that. But I don't know what she was charged with. What was the
Assault
initial
and
charge?
battery or something. So that's why I said like
Well, she
we don't know what happened off camera where she probably mushed him or she probably hit him or she you know what I'm saying? Like it had to
right.
be something and then I like I said like it's his he had people there with him that was already on his side. So we don't know the situation completely and that's why I'm not like I see a lot of people automatically picking her side. I'm not picking nobody's side because I'm in nobody's relationship but my own. You know what I mean? So us picking sides doesn't make like it doesn't make sense because you have no clue what happened. God forbid she, scratched him up or whatever the case may be, or punched him, and you know what I mean. And that's why she got the assault charge. We don't know.
And
I,
if you watch the video, if, even when the cops were there, she was being combative. You understand what I'm saying? Her tone was it was aggressive. So
Listen, if I'm
that's
mad,
not
I'm
far
mad.
fetched.
Yeah, like yeah, she was
No, if
That's
mad.
I'm
not
mad, I'm
far
mad.
fetched.
If you're telling me we were together in my mind or whatever the case may be, because let's be clear, like when she came out with that Yellow Bone song, he was like, "Yeah, that's my girl." He wrote it in the captions, like in the comment. That's my girl. Okay, great. You put it in the public eye that that was your girl. You do relationship things with this person. We don't know what conversations they're having at night with each other. We don't know that he's saying, "Oh, I love you," or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
That's on
So
video.
now, it, so now you're telling me in front of millions of people that I was not your girl, I was your side bitch. That's one. Okay. Two, you're telling me, oh, your parents even know you're a side bitch. That's two. That's disrespectful. You talking about my parents, I'm punching you in your jaw. There's nothing holding me back from that. Dead serious. And I can attest to that. Like, I will rock you in your jaw with no hesitation. I know I'm going to get locked up. I will stay on the steps and wait for the cops to come and get me. So there's certain situations like you can't talk
Is it
and
that
say
serious?
whatever it
Like,
is. If you bring my
do
parents
do you
into
not know how to
anything,
control your anger?
no, no, not if you bring my parents in it. If you want to have a conversation with me, you have a conversation with me. You want to disrespect me, you disrespect me. Once you bring my parents into it, it's a different thing for me. That's me. I don't know about her, but for me, yeah, absolutely. That's why I do the respect thing because I don't ever want to feel disrespected because I know I can definitely go there.
Me too. That's that.
So
I
now,
just
quick.
made that.
So now, so now, quick question, right? So now, let's just say somebody would have mentioned your parents, and you rocked them, right? So you know, for every action, there's a reaction, right? And it may not be calling the cops.
I just
It
said I
may
was
be
sit.
that
I
person
was
physically. It may be that
whatever
person physically
consequences,
attacking you as well too. And
and
you
it
okay
is
with
what
that?
it is. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like I'm someone that takes my consequences head on. Like it don't bother me. That's why my parents used to beat me all the time because I literally take my consequences head on. I don't care. Whatever it is that's going to happen to me is going to happen to me. That's how I feel. If I do something, I know there's going to be a reaction. That's the way of life. Whatever it is, based on what I did, I'm just gonna have to deal with
Has
it and move
has
forward.
has anyone here ever been in a physical altercation with a partner or love interest?
No.
Does Jim play
Yeah, we all
like
know
terms?
Winston has.
Winston getting
Winston,
knives pulled off on
it's time
him.
for you to speak, Winston.
Say what, bro? I wasn't in the altercation. I was threatened. That's all it was. She threatened me with, butcher knife, steak knife, whatever other knife she, they pulled out. And yeah,
That's
that's
pretty
it.
Jesus.
crazy. You know, and I think I said this in a prior discussion, or maybe I meant to, but I'll say it now. You know, sometimes two people could be in a toxic relationship, but the reason it's toxic is because they're not right for each other. Let me give you an example. This is the only thing that I can think of, the best analogy. Think about chemistry, right? You have elements, right? Certain elements, you mix them together, it becomes like a poison, right? But then when you mix those same elements and you mix them instead of with each other with other elements, it's not poison. So it's just sometimes that being with someone could bring the worst out of you. You know, if you're with the wrong person.
That's true.
What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I had sent you guys a video in the group chat, and I think I posted on a story also about this guy who made a video where he was saying how um, people often mistake compatibility or and then form relationships based on that, not realizing that you could be compatible with a demon. You could be compatible with the worst version of yourself, with like somebody who brings out the worst version of you,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's compatible with the struggle side of you, the angry side of you, the toxic part of you. You could be compatible with that, and and in the same breath, like so, which means once you no longer that person, once you're supposed to change, you're supposed to become better. You're no longer compatible with that person because the part of you that they were compatible with is now gone. So, so that's, when you say those chemistry, compatibility, whatever words you want to put on it, it's very much easy. It's very much possible and happen often where you could be compatible with somebody. Um, you could start out being compatible with somebody and eventually um, not be compatible with them to some extent. And you could also be compatible with somebody for a long time to come. And you guys always bring out the worst in each other because you guys have not healed. And that person, like you said, Greg, somebody could bring out the good in you, somebody could bring out the worst side of you. So when that same
That was
person
good.
comes, when that same person is now, when that same person, that you're with and you were compatible with and all stuff like that, when they start becoming somebody else, you might be like, oh, you've changed, you're no longer that
Hmm.
person, stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but you didn't grow along with me. You didn't change along with me, and that's why we're no longer compatible. It happens all the
Mm.
time.
That's a great point. That's facts. That's deep, man. That's a whole conversation right there. And welcome Bianca to the table. Glad you're joining us.
Hey y'all.
Bianca, do you see the question for tonight? It says, and I'll read it real quick for you. It says, "Have you ever been in a fake relationship?"
No, I've never been in a fake relationship. But what can you
Let me.
define it first?
Yes,
Because I
yes,
thought,
yep, yep.
okay,
So, fake relationship. What I mean in this case is a situation where you think you're in a relationship, or somebody thinks they're in a relationship, and the other one doesn't. But one person is pretty much being led on, thinking that it's something that it's not, and the other person knows what it is. So, have you ever been in on either side where either you were the one who was misled, or you were the one doing the misleading?
okay. I have not been on either side. No, I'm usually very transparent, and I, I've never had someone who thought that it was something different and that it wasn't. Because I'm like too brutally honest, I guess. So, and I've never actually thought something was more than what it was either. So, fortunately, I've never had that.
Got you. You're the only one at the table because we all have.
Oh, for real?
Um, yep.
Oh,
Yeah, and the reason why this topic came up is, as I was telling everyone else, is because with the whole the baby situation that went viral the past couple days, there's video circulating where she's saying to him, I wasn't your girl, and he's saying, no, you were just a certified side bitch, and she's like, so that's what I am to you. I was not your girl. So she clearly, thought that it was something that it wasn't. Either that or he's lying. So that's where
I
the
think
question
he's
came up.
lying.
So you think he's lying? So you think he really? Okay, so okay, not saying that you're wrong, but and I'll ask this question to you first, Bianca, and then everyone else. Why do you think he's lying?
Well, the thing is, I think he's lying. I don't think he loves anyone but himself. Like, he's just a toxic dude. And she's toxic too. I think he just says whatever he wants to say to get what he wants. And I think she really believed what he was saying. And with what all the actions he was doing, like he went all out for her birthday and he was doing all these different things. Who knows what he might have told her? Like, some people will tell people things, like, oh, you're this and I do love you and da 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 da. And then here we are, and he's on social media showing the world a private matter between the two of them. And it's just, it's so toxic. But I believe that he may have made her. I don't think he actually loved her or anything like that, but I think he may have influenced her to believe that she was more than what she was, and then went ahead and pulled the rug and was like, nope, you're not, you're just this. And I think she really believed it, of course. But yeah, I think that he definitely contributed to her believing that. I don't think she just created it on her own, out of her own, um, mind. I think that he definitely, through words and then also through actions, was making her feel or letting her know that she was, when in fact she wasn't. I mean, she even made that song, what was it? Yellow Bone. He likes yellow bone, like whatever.
about him liking her or preferring her or what have you. And yeah, it's I think that he contributed to it, but I don't think that he actually loved her. I don't think he even knows how to love. Um,
Even though he said it, even though he said I love you.
right.
So
I mean, a
so
lot of dudes can
it was
say that.
all
Game
intentionally.
or yeah, just to keep her, whatever. I don't believe it was real.
Also,
Eh,
also, if you have a guy's baby, I think it's very easy to fall into the narrative that you know there's something there.
Mm-hmm. But he's had a baby too with the other girl as well. But I mean, definitely. I mean, she was showing how he went all out and for her birthday and all this stuff. I mean, he was giving the energy that she was someone, she was not a side piece, and I
Yeah.
personally feel like he might have told her that, I love you. Doesn't mean he meant it, but he might have definitely made her feel as if you are more than this to me. And then, it's a lie, so then he can easily just say, well, no, you're not. Haha. You know? But what y'all think?
That's crazy.
I think what you just said is very easy to believe based on what I saw of the video. Um,
Have any one of you ever told someone you love them knowing that you didn't mean it? Can we
Yes.
all be honest?
I haven't. I don't play with that.
Yes, I have.
Yup.
Okay. Okay, so okay, let's
That
start with
coochie was
Raquel.
here, boy.
Oh wow. Raquel, why did you do that? We'll go around. Why?
So in my situation, it was like a force. You know what I mean? Like I literally didn't want to be in the relationship from the jump. I didn't even know I was, like when somebody like puts you in a situation and you're like, damn, I don't want
Like
to
an
embarrass
ultimatum
you.
or
Yeah,
something?
not even that. It was just like, so I was dating a guy and I literally thought it was like a fun filled, just relax. We're just friends. Like we're friends and then we became boyfriend and girlfriend, but it was just like a real chill relationship, like, and we were still talking to other people to my knowledge, but we were boyfriend and girlfriend at the same time. It was like, it was weird. And he put me in a situation because he came to my home and was like, yeah, I love your daughter. And my parents were like, okay. And my mom was like, well, I don't think my daughter loves you. And I was like, Mom, that's not nice. I love him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just
Oh wow.
became like that. It was like like I didn't want him to feel embarrassed
But he didn't
in
tell
a
you that
sense.
first before you said that to the family?
No. First
Wow.
of all, he wasn't even supposed to be at my house. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it was a whole situation. Like, that's why I said, like, from the beginning, like, yes, I've been in a fake relationship, and that's the relationship that I was in.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Pierre, why did you tell a woman that you loved her? I mean, I know you gave some little insight.
Hey, no offense to the women, because when you're having sexual intercourse and it's pleasing to you, you say certain things. So I might have said I love you a couple times. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't got no other reason.
Maybe you loved it, but not her.
Exit, yeah, and I might have said, I love you. Yeah, that kind of situation. It's happened.
That's not
It's
believable
happened to
anyway,
the.
though, I don't think.
It's happened to the best of us.
I don't think any woman takes it seriously, though.
That's what
I
I'm
would
saying.
hope
I
not.
wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. I'm like, all right,
Now, if
heard
you're
you.
out and about, like let's say y'all are watching a Netflix movie together, or you're out at the park or something, and he's like, "I love you," I'd more so believe that than during the actual act.
I would just be like,
Yeah, that's never happened to me. All my I love yous came from sexual intercourse. I ain't
Oh,
never
so you
said
it's like there's
oh
a
yeah.
spell on you. You're caught up
I
in the
ain't
moment.
I would.
yes.
I'm just like the kitty cat strikes
Wow.
again. Got him.
Round.
Oh my
Ty, you
god.
ever told a guy that you loved him and didn't, or told?
I don't know about the words "I love you," but I have told guys some things I ain't mean in
Wow.
order to get some things that I needed
Like
or
what?
or wanted.
Like what you said?
Uh,
What's one of them? What's one of the things you said? Like, because if you're not saying
um,
I love you,
I have boasted about, sex that in my opinion was not good, but I made him feel like it was, the
Oh my God,
greatest of
that's
all
the
time.
wait a minute.
worst. Oh my God.
Wait a
Well,
minute.
yo, when you gotta
Okay.
fake it,
Stroke his
bro. Oh
ego.
my
Goodness.
God,
You had to fake
Wait a
time.
minute.
Oh.
I
If
did.
you
girl.
I
if it
did.
wasn't that good, then why would you want it again? Is it because you thought that hey, maybe it could get better? Like what?
No, I didn't think it was
Sometimes
gonna
it's
get better.
convenience.
But it was also, but like I said, this guy had a lot of money, so I was trying to keep the money train flowing.
Wow.
So yeah, that's. I mean, it's very simple.
Okay.
It was a financial thing.
$30 a bottle of medication. I'm
Could he
not
been
trying to
taught
be
though?
a
Like
sob
could you
story.
have taught him?
I'm
Or
52
was it too
years
No,
far
old.
because
gone?
We can't hear you,
because he was
Pierre. We
rather
can't hear you.
Make
small.
money
So
legally.
Pierre, we can't hear
Okay.
you.
If we can't don't have some stuff, I just come here and
Pierre is going
Taco
off.
Bell, she go to
Oh,
McDonald's
that's
and
Pierre? I
switch.
can't hear him.
Pierre,
You
what's
know,
up with your? We can't hear you
so
properly.
one in the blue moon,
I
I
think
drink
he's
beer
talking to
here.
somebody else.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
maybe he
Cause he's
doesn't know he's not
I'm
on
just
mute.
trying to fix it. The number
yeah.
large clothes. All right, so I'm gonna give you this to go take care of you and your. Go take care of you and your. Um, there you go.
Pierre.
No, take it. Go ahead.
Pierre. What?
Pierre.
No, no problem. Thank you. She's right. She probably over there at Taco Bell now.
Oh my gosh.
Ordering snow. All right, go get something to eat, man. Thanks, man. All right, take care.
Uh,
It's cold out.
Oh wow.
Taco Bell.
Yo, Pierre.
Oh shit! What y'all laughing for?
We
What
heard
happened?
all of that,
You.
Because
man.
we
You was
heard
not
all
on
that.
mute.
Oh, my fault, y'all.
Oh man.
That's why you built
Well.
like a BBW. You keep eating Taco Bell.
I'm screaming.
Wow.
Or you, Bianca, you was asking me
Nah,
if it could get better, and the answer
Yeah, I
is
was saying
no.
if he teachable or was it too far gone?
He was very small, so there's no
Oh, oh,
changing his
Oh
okay.
man.
size.
Got
Oh.
But
you.
what
Well.
it is what it is.
No, but
Yeah.
listen.
Um,
Sometimes it could be small, but like he could do other things. Like, was he doing other
he
things?
did. He
That's
did do
true.
Okay.
other things.
Okay.
Which is why he probably got more time than was
You would
needed.
normally. Yeah.
Copy.
But yeah, no, there were, it just wasn't never going to be good. But he was a guy that was, overcompensating with money for
Mm-hmm.
that. He knew he was small. Um, and I was there to take his money. Sorry.
Oh wow.
Wow. Okay. Watson, have you ever told a woman that you love?
No,
It was
I'm
so
not doing.
cold. No.
Like it, no, it's no because like for me, because okay, I understand like emotions, and I understand the women in a way where it's like, I know that women fall in love with their ears, and because the reason I understand that is because like I've seen women like literally fall for me, not even because of like I was trying to make them, but because they were like so interested in like in the in like the things I say, how I say things, how I present myself, like they were just falling for those things.
Somebody mute
How
them.
like how like they were like they would fall for how I naturally am. Like you guys could tell from our or from all of our discussion, I'm very expressive. Like I could say exactly what I mean and exactly how I see it, and they're like, oh, they like that about me. And so I've seen women like fall for that, or be like, oh yeah, I want somebody who could express themselves like that. Like I had my friends told me like maybe like 2 weeks ago, she was like, yo, she's like, if I'm ever dating a guy, I need him to talk to you first. Like she's like, if I'm going to get serious with a guy, I need him to talk to you and learn something from you. I'm like, and so because I understand that kind of power. Not, I'm gonna call it power, but, because I understand that kind of influence. I try not to say things that that's going to like I'm either gonna have to take back or that's going to cause harm in the future.
Mm.
Like because I understand even at a young age, I'm like I don't how because I understand because I understand that like for example, I grew up not being like I grew up with my cousin who was a pretty boy with curly hair. That man, that boy didn't have to say a word to a girl. He could just look at them and did it all fall for him. Meanwhile, I had to be expressive, charming, funny, all the other shit. So because of that, I learned how to do all those things early on. So because of that, I try not to say things that I'm gonna have to have to like take back. Oh, you said you love me. No, the fuck I didn't. So yeah,
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because, you know what? It almost becomes like an abuse of power where you know your words can do something. So at least you're not like trying to take advantage, at least not on purpose. So,
yeah, it's very manipulative and it's like it's almost like I've been the villain in plenty of people's stories without intending to be. So for me to go out of my way to be that villain, yeah, I didn't want to do that. So that's why I try to say things like I don't tell people I love them if I don't mean it. I don't tell a girl like listen oh my god you're the only one for me. I'm going to love you forever. Like I don't know if I'm gonna love you forever. Like maybe I will, but love is I'm like the only person whose love is unconditional is God's. Every other love is conditional. So
that's interesting. Okay.
I have
We
My
definitely
fault,
learned
y'all.
that.
I was at the drive-through. I was giving somebody some money, and then he
we
was
know,
giving
we
me a
heard.
rundown.
We heard.
we heard your Taco
We heard
Bell.
the whole thing, bro.
I gonna be
We
like,
heard your
we
Taco Bell.
know, we heard,
I
We
know
heard.
Greg all cold. We know. We heard. We
we
heard.
heard.
Yeah,
It
like
was
let
it
me
was it was kind of funny
explain,
though.
please. Let
It
me
was
explain.
no, it was kind of funny because I was gonna cut it out of this audio, but I'll probably leave it in now because it just adds some little spice and
Nah, don't do that.
Taco Bell.
free promotion, right? Um, but yeah, I guess we could go to closing thoughts. I mean, how?
Oh, Greg, did you
Sure,
answer it?
sure. Yeah, I mean, I've been in relationships where, all right, I had a situation a couple years back where, like Wetson, I was very friendly. I think Wetson, we've had this conversation before. Like, I'm like very friendly, very nice, and sometimes that gets, that could be misinterpreted for something that it isn't. So I don't know. I mean, there was this girl that I was talking to. Now I did have interests, but I just didn't want to rush into anything. You understand? But in the process, I'm doing boyfriend things. And she would say on a couple of occasions, she's like, I feel like you're my boyfriend. And in my mind, I'm like, well, slow down. Not saying that we can't get there, but let's continue to get to know each other because historically, whenever I rush into relationships, it doesn't work. So I wasn't trying to, you try to learn from your past, not repeat the same mistakes. So anyway, she ended up, to make a long story short, giving me some type of ultimatum in a sense. It was like she tried to rush me into a relationship. And, I kind of went along with it because I liked her, even though I knew deep down it was like premature to like really commit. But I went ahead and did that. But deep down, I didn't really want to be in a relationship, but I went along with it. And a couple of months later, unfortunately, I had to end it. And then I tried to stay friends, but, that didn't work. So, yeah, I guess I was a villain, but I didn't really want to be the villain, but ended up being one, I guess.
You said you were doing boyfriend things, or she said you were doing boyfriend things?
I think it was both. I was doing certain things I would do, which would when you're really nice and you doing certain things that other people don't do, you leave a lasting impression, But you kind of have to like know as a guy, like what someone was saying, you kind of have to know like when to like kind of like hold things back a little bit and just be careful of how you do things, how you say things because it can be misinterpreted. And then, For some women, you end up becoming the villain because they feel like you led them on when you really weren't trying to. And this could happen the other way around with women and guys too. I don't know if anyone else been in a situation like that where they were literally just being nice, but the person thought they were like, you know, trying to hit on them or whatever, and it wasn't that.
Dude, I told you, I had a whole 8 month relationship with a girl that I had no idea about. Like, I thought we were just fucking, and this girl made me her boyfriend for a whole 8 months, telling people that I broke her heart. I'm like, and to the point where her saying that messed it up for me with other girls going forward. Like this girl talking about how I broke her heart. I did all this that and the third, and I think I was in like Miami, like maybe like 5 6 months after I was supposed to break up. And like, okay, quick story. I was in Miami like 5 6 months after I was supposed to break up because again, I thought I didn't know we were in a relationship. And while I'm there, like we're chilling at a house, and like her cousin and like some other girls and like her cousin's friends, whatever, they were there, and I'm hanging out on the couch. I'm like watching the game, and I'm hanging out with this girl on the couch. It's like a bunch of us in the house, but she's sitting next to me. We're talking, joking, laughing. This girl, like she's touching me and stuff like that. Everything's all good. Then Shorty was like, oh, the whole time we're over here just chilling and laughing, whatever. I never asked, what's your name? I was like, oh, Whitson. She goes, Whitson? She goes, hey. She goes, and she called the girl. She was like, hey, is that the same Whitson? And the girl's like, yes,
Mm.
that's the same Whitson. And she jumped up. She goes, why am I in bed with the enemy? I was like, the enemy?
What?
I'm like,
Oh
what the
boy.
fuck did I
Why?
do? And then apparently this girl had told like her cousin and all her cousin's friends that like based on my name, like I had broken her heart, I had did that, this, that, and the third.
Wow.
I was like, see, I was like, just because of you, and now I'm upset because you, I just lost out on a nine that could be my future wife, but you decided to slander my name because you felt some type of way about just giving us some coochie. But anyway, so yeah, so clearly I've been the villain in plenty of girl stories. I don't know why.
For the
I
record,
never do nothing to
for the
nobody.
record, I believe the girl. I don't.
First of all, shut up.
Pierre has
Shut up,
spoken.
shut up, eat your nachos, bitch.
I'm screaming.
Mm. Well, so I have a question that I'd like to ask all of us. We'll go around the table. This will be our closing thoughts, and this will be for the listeners. What advice can we give to the listeners to avoid ending up in a fake relationship? Because I feel like this could happen to anyone. So let's start with Raquel. What advice would you give to those listening to avoid fake relationships? We'll go around the table, and that'll be.
If the person doesn't say, yeah, you're my girl or you're my boyfriend or whatever the case may be, they're not your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Like, don't just go by their actions. Listen to what they're saying to you. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't claim you, then they're not for you. They're not yours.
Short and sweet. Love it. I agree 100%. And as always, thank you for joining the table, Raquel.
No problem.
Pierre?
Um, I would say be very observant. You just gotta be observant, be mindful, watch how the person moves, and eventually the person will always tell on themselves. So that would be my closing thoughts.
All right. Thank you for that. And thank you for joining the table. And nice of you to, and I really mean this sincerely. Nice of you to, give the homeless guy money to get some food or whatever. Yeah. Ty?
Um, I think after all of my experiences, what I've learned is um honesty is the best road to take. You need to allow people to manage their expectations, and um as long as you're honest, as long as you're, not trying to fight or, be toxic or argue, more than likely you'll get the outcome that you want.
Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ty, for joining us again. Always a
Of
pleasure.
course.
And Watson, what advice would you give to those listening to avoid ending up in?
Be clear with your intentions. Like, be clear with your intentions. If you want to date this girl, let her know that you want to date her. If she says, "Hey, I'm not interested," you'll be like, "Oh, can't you have friends?" No, because you don't want to be her friend. So don't put yourself in a situation where you say you want to be friends, and then here you go, and she's like, "Okay, we're friends," and then 5, 6 years, 6 months down the line, you're like, "Oh, you string me along." No, you wanted to be friends, but you can get what you want. So be clear with your intention, and if you can't get your way, keep it pushing. That goes for men and women. Be clear with your intention and go for exactly what you want. If you're not getting it, or if the person says otherwise, then keep it pushing. Do not push the issue, or do not hang around hoping something will change, because you're literally putting yourself in, like you're literally like stringing yourself along, and that's not good for anybody, because then you're gonna resent that person slowly, and make them feel guilty for not wanting, or for not giving you what you want out of them. So be clear with your intention and move accordingly.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it, Watson, for you joining the table. And this time you weren't in the gym. Well, I don't think you are. So, thank you.
I went in the morning.
Oh wow. Okay. Nice. Um, and Bianca, what are your closing thoughts on advice? I know you said you never been in a fake relationship, either on either side, but what advice would you give to those listening to avoid?
I would say be transparent and be honest in in your communications with the person, so that you don't end up leading anyone on, or you don't get led on. And yeah, be transparent, be honest, and speak your mind, speak on what it is that you want or what you like or what have you, and then be respectful if that person doesn't feel the same way. But always just be transparent and be honest, um with how you feel, so that way you don't want to lead any you don't ever want to lead anyone on, and you don't want to say the L word if you don't mean it. Just be honest and transparent.
Okay, thank you for that, Bianca. Appreciate your thoughts and thank you for joining the table as always. And for me, I would definitely say, be honest, be upfront. And even if you think, your honesty may hurt someone's feelings, just be brutally honest because at the end of the day, you don't want to be an unintentional villain. Just be honest. They'll whoever you're with or dealing with will respect you for your honesty at the end of the day. And I would also say be honest with yourself. A lot of times we put ourselves in these self delusions because we don't take the time to reflect and we want something to be a certain way that we're not even realizing what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say. Um, and yeah, thank you again to everyone for joining us tonight. We had a great discussion, and I hope to see you all again next time. Have a good night, y'all. Thank you for checking out Open Table Discussions. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and also hit the bell notification to be alerted when the next show is posted. Also, visit tablechatter.com if you'd like to make a donation, and follow me on Instagram at @tablechatter, and DM me if you'd like to say hello or be a participant on a future episode. Also, please make sure to check out the other shows on this channel that you can access from the playlist tab, which include Debate Boss, Table of Cinema, Table Advice, Sports Table Talk, and the Table Chatter Report coming soon.